Hi there, welcome to today's painting tutorial. Today we are going to paint some bamboo with acrylic paints. So let's get started. Let's start with a size 0 round brush. And I'm going to pick up some of this dark green color. This is a hooker's green. And I'm going to mix some black with it to create a darker value. And then let's put that shadow color around the top here. And then pick up some straight hooker's green. And then I'm going to switch brushes to put in the lighter colors. So I'm going to pick up this really light green color, start putting that in on the left side. Okay, and then let's do that same method to put in each section. And I'm going to take the dark color, let's put that over here. And try to get a straight edge. To do that, just make sure you have enough paint on your brush. And then sort of blend that over to the right side. And then pick up that light green. And then you want to start putting that in and allow it to mix and sort of blend with that darker color that you have in there. Again, try to get a straight line on the edges. Just blending that over. And then in the center, we want to get light. So take some of this light yellow color and then allow that to mix in with the green. And then if you wanted to, you could take a little bit of white paint and put a highlight in the center. Okay, so let's continue. And I'm going to leave a space in between each of the sections. Don't forget to grab your free sketch in the description below, the resources section. And then you can know exactly where to put everything when you have a sketch to follow. Okay, we're using that dark green, pressing down to get that straight edge. And then I'm going to pick up the light green with the other paintbrush. And switching brushes, that's just going to help you to get colors that aren't really messy or muddy. Just helps you get lighter, richer colors. I'm going to rinse that brush. And then pick up that light yellow. Put that in. Allow it to mix together. And then grab the white paint and put that as a highlight. And you want those to sort of line up as well. Okay, so back to the dark color. And mix more if you need to. Pick up a little black and some of the hooker's green. Okay, so let's continue with the dark color. I think I need a little more black. And then make sure to leave a space in between each section. And then to get that straight line, just press down with the brush. Okay, and then switch to the other brush. Pick up that green and allow the colors to mix. Rinse the brush. Get that lightest color, the yellow. Blend that in. Allow it to mix with the green. And then pick up the white and put that in as a highlight. Okay, so now let's do this section. So same thing. I'm going to take that dark green, press down, try to get a straight edge with just a few strokes. Bring it over to this right side. And then pick up your light green with the other paintbrush. Okay, I'm going to rinse that brush. and then pick up the yellow. It's a lemon yellow, really light, really vibrant yellow. Okay, and then let's pick up that white and put in that highlight. Okay, so now let's work on the leaves. We're gonna do sort of that same idea, but let's take, first I'm gonna take some of this dark brown. This is burnt umber. And I wanna put that around some of these leaves here. I just wanna do a little bit of outlining just to create some structure with this really dark burnt umber. And then I'm going to pick up some burnt sienna and add that in as well. So it's just going to give us some nice structure for the leaves, create a bit of an outline. Okay, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. All right, so now we're going to do the same sort of pattern that we did with the body. So we'll take the dark color, and you can mix up more if you need to, add black and hooker's green. Okay, so I'm going to put this sort of on the underbelly of the leaf. Get quite a bit of paint on your brush so that it doesn't skip. And then I'm going to switch brushes and pick up the light green. And then see if you can blend that in and get that gradation of color. Pick up the light yellow and put that in as well. Okay, so let's do the leaf at the top. So I'm going to go around the top. And I want a crisp edge, so get enough paint. And then I'm going to come over this way. So I'm sort of going around the outside of that leaf. Then I'm going to take the light green with the other brush, put that around, and then in the center, pick up the yellow, and then put that in the center. Then let's take this light green and put it along the stem, and then put it along this leaf over here. Okay, and allow the brown to mix in as well. Okay, so now let's do this one up here. I'm going to take that dark green. Let's try to go through the center of the leaf. So it's just going to give us some variety. Grab more water on your brush. If your paint is skipping, grab more paint as well. Okay, so I'm going to go around the outside edge. Pick up more black. I want it to be even darker at the base here. Then I'm going to switch brushes, grab that light green. And while that paint is still wet, it's going to allow me to mix it. Okay, if you wanted to, you could add a highlight, so you can pick up some white. You could add a little bit of a highlight to some of these. And if the highlight comes out too bright or too intense, see if you can blend it. All right, so let's do this leaf over here. I'm going to start with the brown or the black and put that along the bottom. And then I'm going to pick up the light green with that other brush and allow it to mix together. Okay. Now let's paint this area. So I'll do the same sort of thing. Put some dark green in there and then pick up the light green and put that in. So I'm using minimal strokes here, just pushing down to create those leaves. Okay, so rinse those brushes. Now let's do the sections in between the bamboo. So for that, you want to take this burnt umber brown color and sort of go around the outside edge of that white that you have left. So it's going to give it some contrast and enough definition. And if you wanted it to be darker, you could add a little bit more black. Maybe put that along the bottom just to add more contrast. Then you want to take your beige color and actually switch to a brush that has been using the light paint instead of the dark paint. It's going to keep your colors from getting muddy. And then put that beige right in the center. You could try to do it in one stroke if possible. Okay, so now let's do the root system at the bottom. So I'm going to switch back to the other brush that we use the darker colors, and let's take some burnt umber and some black. I can go around the outside edge at the bottom, and I'm just trying to make some shadow with this. So we're outlining, creating shadow for the roots, and then you can grab some of this burnt sienna and start putting that in. Just use the edge of the brush, or the tip of the brush. Start filling some of that in. And then pick up the beige and switch brushes if you want to. Mix that beige in there to create the highlights. And allow those colors to mix. Okay, so I'm gonna switch brushes. I have this zero liner brush. I'm gonna roll that into the beige. And remember, with this brush, you really have to roll it. And then this will allow us to get some pretty fine lines. So use this brush to get some really small roots at the bottom. It's just going to give it more detail, make it look a little more realistic. And you can put as many as you'd like. And then let's use this burnt sienna color and put some with this darker color. And be a little darker. And mix this darker color in with the lighter roots. Okay, so now let's pick up some of this burnt sienna color, and we're going to try to put a line in the center of those tan little stripes that we did. So kind of need to have your hand stabilized there so that you can get a steady hand. But I'm just putting these strips down the center of that beige. Okay, and then if you wanted to, you can rinse the brush. You could roll this in the white paint. You could go into the center and put little highlights there. Okay. All right, and then if you've lost any of your highlights, go ahead and put those back in. So I might put a little bit more of a highlight here and here. And maybe up at the top here, a little highlight. Okay, and we will call this complete. Thank you so much for painting along with me. This is how you can paint a bamboo with acrylic paints. Like and subscribe for more tutorials. Check out the resources linked below, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.